from behind yet again to win a game of football. We keep doing this every single time. We're making a habit of it. And I'm not going to lie, at halftime today, I was sitting there thinking, surely we can't go and do it again. But we managed to go and do it again. And Manchester United come from behind to win 3-1. The goals coming from Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, and of course, Edinson Cavani. And that man, Edinson Cavani, today, just showing how much Manchester United need to keep him at the club, need to sign him up, need to give him a new contract, because the guy's movement is second to none. It's elite movement from Edinson Cavani. The movement is class all round. I can't think of many players with movement as good as that about in the Premier League or in Europe. The guy is fantastic in terms of his movement. His finishing is also up there. And with the movement, it means he's going to get chances consistently. Even when he comes on as a substitute for short periods of time, we see Edinson Cavani get a couple of opportunities because of how good he is, because of his movement, because of how tenacious he is, because he never stops running. And he can be an example as well to Mason Greenwood, to Anthony Martial, to Marcus Rashford, and not just the strikers, not just those players in those attacking positions, but also everybody else in the team. When they see someone like Edinson Cavani in that team, busting a gut, working his balls off, covering every blade of grass, at that age, given what he's achieved in his career, and they see those kind of things, they can't have any excuses for not pulling their weight. And he is and must be one of the best free signings about. Obviously, we had Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And in terms of the influence in the dressing room, how they can command the dressing room, command respect, make sure everybody's working at their hardest, they could be compared in that sense, I think. Now, you'll have your favourites and you'll have your preferences for who you think is the better player. But what we can't... thank you for the super chat, by the way, Oliver Smith. It says, we can be 4 points off City by Friday. We can. There's a little bit of hope. You can maybe put a little bit of pressure on them. They need 2 points to win the league, 1 win to win the league, or Manchester United to lose a game, and that could happen. But I kind of given up on it probably by now. But we have to win our games. You win your games, anything can happen. You put that pressure on them. You put the doubts into their back of the mind, because they'll be focusing on the Champions League final. They'll be focusing on, trying to wrap that up, trying to make sure they can all be fit for the Champions League final, the biggest game in their club's career. Minnie saying but and laughing is true. There's always that but. There's always that little bit of hope. There's always that thing saying, you never know. But realistically, it's going to be very, very unlikely that City do that. But there's always that little bit of hope, isn't there? And if we can keep winning our games, then we'll be all right. That's for sure. Let me just check the sound out on this. Having a few complaints about it. For who you think... It sounds all right for me, as I've just checked that out. So I do apologise if there's any sound issues. I've done this on my phone because I set up the event on my phone, and you can't go live through your webcam setup. I was supposed to be with the lads today. So I just kept that event set up. So I do apologise if it's not as good as my usual sound. I've got the mic here, but it's obviously not connected to the phone because I can't do that. But nevertheless, there's always that but. There's always that, could 21 be coming? There's always that. So, yes, we got to keep winning our games. And if we can beat Leicester, beat Liverpool, we'll be 4 points behind them. Now, they win their game. It's more or less done. Do you know what I mean? Well, it is done. But you put the pressure on. You put maybe a few doubts into their mind, especially after the last game for them against Chelsea, where they seem to have it won, where they seem to have, the points in the bag. They had a penalty. They missed the penalty. All those kind of things. So when you see that happen, maybe some of their players might start to think, oh, could this be a shocker? Could this be this? Could this be us throwing it away? So you can always put a little bit of doubt into the back of the mind, but we've been unbeaten away from home. Like, if you look at it, we've been unbeaten away from home. One more game to go away from home, and we'll have been unbeaten away from home in the league campaign for the whole season, 19 games. That is phenomenal. Where we've lost the league this season, if City don't throw it away and there's a miracle, where we've lost the league has been at home. Earlier on in the season against the likes of Palace and Spurs, dropping massive points. Arsenal, I thought we went super negative against them. Chelsea at home, I thought we went super negative against them. We've lost the league at home, in those games at home. Nobody's lost less games than us. You know, we've lost the least games in the league, but all 4 of those defeats came at home. And that shows you where our problems lied this season. So we need to make sure that next season our home form's relentless. The odds are we're not going to, go unbeaten away from home. But with the kind of form that we're on, with the kind of mentality that you're building, and when your team can build up that mentality of we're going away from home and we're not losing every week. Because as a fan, when you go away from home, there's always that little bit of away from home. You know, they're going to be up for this. Their fans are going to be up for this. The whole team, everything's going to be up for this. And maybe there being no fans in the ground has played a part of that. But away form is incredible. Get your home form right and you'll be on to something, you know what I mean? So we've lost the title if we've lost it. Although no one would have said we were in a position to like make it our own, although we were top at point. You know, we've lost the title at home this season. That's where we've lost it. But to keep it going into May, even if it is a slight hope, it shows a vast improvement from where we've been. Now, as Manchester United fans, we're used to winning the league. We're used to challenging for the league. We're used to winning those big trophies. Do you know what I mean? So second isn't an achievement, but it's progression. It's progression from where we were last season. It's progression from where we were the season before. I was watching Jay and Joe on their live, and they were talking about how last season we were scrambling to the last day to get top 4. This season it's much, much different. So you have to give a lot of credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, speaking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's had some words to say on Harry Maguire's injury. And he said he might be a few weeks, might be a few days. He says he hopes Maguire's fit for the final, but not sure. It's an ankle problem. And that's what I feared. You seen him in the instance where Cavani was tracking back. And he fouled, I can't remember who he fouled. It might have been Ollie Watkins. He fouled Ollie Watkins, or whoever it was. And they fell into Harry Maguire. They landed on the back of Harry Maguire's leg, I think it was. Or they landed on his leg. And he's pulled out of it, but obviously he's suffered an injury, and you could tell it was a sore one straight away. He tried to carry on, come off the side of the pitch, carried on and went down straight away. It's Al Ghazi, sorry. He couldn't keep going, even though he wanted to. And that is really, really disappointing, because especially when you think of his availability, since he came to the club, he's played in every single Premier League game, and he's never been substituted off until today. So now it looks, common sense, even if it's not a serious injury, he's got an ankle knock. You leave him out of that game against Leicester. That's going to have broken the run. So really, really disappointing. And hopefully it's not one of those injuries that can reoccur and can cause an issue. And the most important thing is that we got the result today. Second place is more or less done. Top 4 is definitely done. And with that being said, that means we don't have to risk him in any Premier League games. But Ollie and Harry Maguire will want to play towards the back end of the season to try and be fit and fully fit for that game against Villarreal. And it'd be really disappointing if he was to miss that or go into that game not fully fit, because he's been an ever-present for United. And as bad as he was earlier on in the season, when he came back from pre-season and he had a difficult time, all right, you can point some blame to him or whatever, that's cool. But it was a difficult time for him. You could see when he got sent off for England, he was going through a stressful time. I had my doubts about him. I think a lot of people had their doubts about him. And he's come through it. He's come through it. And he looks stronger. He looks better. He looks mentally better. He's leading the team. And to see him injured is really, really disappointing. And I hope he's back for the final. You know, even from not just a selfish Manchester United fan perspective of us needing our best players fit, even from his perspective of it being a difficult year for him, getting through it, captain of Manchester United, he's got us to a final, and now he can't possibly participate in it. And if you look at when he went off the pitch in the Premier League this season for Manchester United, Sky Sports put the stats up, and in the Premier League, aerial duels won his first, blocks won his first, clearances won his first, duels won first, interceptions first, successful passes first, and you have to take your hat off to that and give him full credit. For me, he'd be in the team of the year with Ruben Diaz. I think Diaz has been fantastic this season, but Harry Maguire's been right up there. And Luke Shaw alongside him was excellent. I thought in the first half of this game today, he was magnificent. And Luke Shaw had pocketed Traore, and then Traore drifted over to the left-hand side of the pitch from his sense, attacking to our right-hand side where Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. And while he was over there, created an overload. Now, we had chances to clear the ball a number of times. Greenwood runs the ball out, gets tackled. Then we've got Fred and McTominay who can get rid, be more sensible in possession. They don't. McTominay isn't aggressive enough. McGinn clears the ball, wins the ball back for Aston Villa. It falls to Traore in the box. Lindelof wins it, pushes it off his toe, but then it's not strong enough. It's not aggressive enough. Just like Scott McTominay in his challenge with McGinn, and Traore gets a shot away. Incredible shot, to be fair to him. Incredible finish. And it's 1-0 Aston Villa, and you're having to come back from behind again now. We've been able to come back from behind for a long time. We've been able to, come back from these positions for a long, long time. But you don't want to keep doing that in football games, going 1-0 behind. And I think in commentary they also mentioned this season we've gone 1-0 down more than we've gone 1-0 up. Now we usually win, but giving your opposition a one-goal start isn't great. But yeah, fingers crossed for Harry Maguire, and hopefully his injury isn't too bad. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks. Fingers crossed, not too bad. But yeah, Manchester United today again, 3-1 winners from behind, and Cavani with the third goal. Fantastic pass by Marcus Rashford, who also seemed to pick up a knock. Fantastic pass. The movement from Cavani, though, it was one of them ones. He scored a few of them for us where once he gets on his run, as long as the ball's right, it's going to be a goal. As long as the ball's right, it's going to be a goal. And that's exactly what it was. Right on his head, finish. Edinson Cavani, finish. And you've got to get him signed up for next season. You've got to get him signed up for another season at the very least. Top player. Elite movement. Everyone in the team will thrive with playing with him. His movements, I haven't seen much better about in Europe at the moment. His finishing's up there as well. He creates chances for himself. Now, obviously, you can't start every game. And I thought in the first half today was a game where we do miss having Anthony Martial. I know he wasn't having the best season, but when you can't start Cavani every game, you need your striker. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, being able to bring Cavani on in the second half, bring him on, gets a goal. The guy's just class. Now, we've got another game in 2 days on Tuesday against Leicester City. Now, it's an interesting one because who do you play? Maguire's not going to play. Even if he says I'm fit, Ollie, you don't play him in that game. So, do you go with Bailly and Tuanzebe, Bailly and Lindelof and Tuanzebe? Lindelof and Bailly is probably the likely one, but you've also got Axel Tuanzebe, and Lindelof made the mistake today. Now, there was other good parts of his play where he won headers and he won clearances and he made some good passes, but he'll be remembered for making that mistake. Now, will we bring Eric Bailly or Axel Tuanzebe in? You'd come to think, Wan-Bissaka and or Shaw might start. I thought in the other game against Roma where we brought on Tellez and Williams, it wasn't their fault, but they didn't look great. and you can tell they haven't played much football. So you'd need to bring, one or two. If I don't know, you don't change both of them, do you? So one of them might get a rest, but you've got that game against Liverpool, and he'll probably go full strength in that game, rest a few in the game against Leicester. And look, let's be real. If we're going to rest anyone, we rest it against Leicester rather than Liverpool. You want to win that game a little bit more. Obviously, you want to win every game, but you have to kind of pick and choose, especially with the final coming up. 4 games though. You want to win that game against Leicester as well, just to, in case, just a little bit of hope. But yeah, disappointing to see Maguire go off today. Even though I would have been saying rest him. He's walked to the Manchester United bus. Henry Winters just tweeted with his left foot in a support boot. Hopefully that's just precautionary, but that's not great news, is it? So that's the latest on Harry Maguire. Not good news at all for Manchester United, and fingers crossed he is back at the very least by the Europa League final. Now Maguire's also posted on Instagram and he's put important win, hoping the injury isn't nothing serious and I'll be back playing soon. Thanks everyone for your messages. So he's clearly still at that hope stage. He doesn't know anything, and we'll probably have to wait if there's any swelling for that swelling to go down before they could do their scans and things tomorrow. So fingers crossed for that. Eric Bailly did come in and he made a few good clearances, but you will also rather have Harry Maguire available to play alongside Bailly. Luke Shaw, as I said, was excellent today. Arguably man of the match, but I'd probably give my man of the match to Pogba. I thought was great throughout. Won the crucial penalty, which got us straight back into the game after half time. Bruno dispatched that. Bruno was all over the place today, all over the pitch, covering every blade of grass. Frustrated in the first half, some sloppy passing and everything. But in the second half, he was a lot better. Obviously got a goal for himself as well, as he always does, whether he plays well or not. So, yeah, my man of the match was Paul Pogba. Vitally important. And another week where we see that Cavani and Pogba need to be signed up. But Luke Shaw right up there. Tabrej Ali says Mason Greenwood was my man of the match. Fair shout. We haven't discussed his goal yet. Good goal, wasn't it? Received the ball from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think it was Tyrone Mings, but I might be wrong. Behind him, kind of felt him span and got the finish away straight away. It was a precise finish into the corner, but he wasn't the most fierce of finishes. And because he's shooting early, because he's getting that shot away early, it means the keeper's, surprised by it a little bit. He has to scurry across his line a little bit more. And Emi Martinez is a good goalkeeper, but it was quality for Mason Greenwood. And Troy Deeney was speaking about Mason Greenwood in the game, saying how good he was and how much of a good finisher he was. I think he said Harry Kane's, the best finisher ahead of him, but probably the only one. And you look at him, left foot, right foot. Today was Van Persie-esque. The guy's quality. Another season with, double figures for goals. Shout out Mason Greenwood, Murder Mace. And he hasn't scored as many as he did last season. But for me, he's probably a little bit better this time around than he was last season in terms of his all-round play. So much credit to Mason Greenwood. And ending this season, we were just talking about Maguire and how important it is that he's fit for that final. Like Mason Greenwood lifting a trophy at the end of the season would be a real cherry on the cake for him, because the guy has been fantastic for the last 2 years. Improvement in his all-round game, bringing the goals as well, match-winning goals. He scored against Roma and AC Milan. Like, you know what I mean? At that age, being able to do that, all right, it's in the Europa League, but nevertheless, the guy's class. And we've got a very, very good team here. 1 or 2 players away. I say 1 or 2. We're not 1 away. We're 2 or 3 definitely away. Someone in that holding midfield position. So it enables us to play a 6 and 2 8s. A 6 in behind Pogba and Bruno is the dream. But also, so even if we do play a 4-2-3-1, just someone better in there. Because we love Fred and McTominay, and they do well for us in certain games. And I think McTominay, quality player at times. Fred, in certain games he can be quality. but we need an out-and-out number 6, and I don't think either of them are that at all. So we need to get a 6. We need to get a right winger. Keep Cavani. I don't think we're getting an Erling Haaland or Mbappe or Kane, as much as the papers will keep linking us with them. Keep Cavani for a season. Then maybe you go in for Haaland next year or something when he is on the market. But yeah, 2-3 players away. Greetings from Panama, says Jose. How you doing, Jose? United need Rice or Ndidi, says Sandeep. I wouldn't mind either of them. Rice and Varane, says Joe H. Yeah, centre half would be good, wouldn't it? And Rafael Varane as well. Top quality player. Does he want a new challenge away from Real Madrid? Would be nice if he did, wouldn't it? Cosmic says like the video. Yes, get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing. Hassan says sack off Rice. We should get Ndidi. Mayank says Rice is injury prone. Ndidi and Sancho, says Karen. Yeah, Sancho's the one that we all want, isn't it? Scott will develop into a starter, but at the moment he's a great squad player, says Breen. For me though, he's an 8 more than he's a 6. Obviously if you play a 4-2-3-1, he's good in that too. But for me, he's more of an 8 than a 6, and we've got 2 8s that would be better than him. Maybe 3 if you include Donny van der Beek. But I hear what you're saying, and the reason Fred gets more criticism from me, Scott McTominay is a free transfer for a squad player. Do you know what I mean? Like Fred cost us 50 million quid, and you look at them both today for that goal, it wasn't good enough. Cheesy Gully Sides watching from Jamaica. Yes, mate. Zam says, what opinions on Moutinho? I think the ship's probably sailed on Moutinho and Neves, you know. Not sure about that one now. I think that one probably sailed. I do admire both players and I like them both, but he's probably sailed. Precise saying Cavani get in. Watching from Toronto, says Michael, thank you for tuning in. Leicester have got Samore, maybe they plan to sell Ndidi, says Kieran. Good shout. It would be good, wouldn't it? But maybe not. Maybe they're not looking to sell Ndidi, but because their recruitment is very good, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're just strengthening their squad. Don't know much about him, but a lot of people talk about Camavinga, says Sat. I haven't seen as much as other people as well, but I've heard he's a talented player. You know, you always get those players that pop up, these young talents, and you think, oh, they're good. And Dembele was one of them, and I think he's a talent. Who's Bakayoko was another one, wasn't he? Remember, that name popped up, and you always hear these players from France and stuff pop up, and some of them are solid, some of them aren't. 21 Man United. We are also guaranteed to finish above Liverpool. And if you said that at the start of the season, a lot of people would have laughed you out of town, wouldn't they? You said United are going to finish above Liverpool. In fact, I said United were going to finish second at the start of this. No, I said first. To be fair, I was taking the piss. But my heart, I thought City would win it and United second or third, and we did that. So fair play. Everton currently winning 1-0 in their game. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and comment and share and subscribing. Apologies if the quality of the camera or sound wasn't as good today. I did it off my phone and a live stream. It seems to be really slow. It's usually quicker and smoother. But thank you for tuning in anyway. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you all tuning in. And now, United, surely that second, third spot done at the very least. And who knows? Maybe we can scare City a bit. See you in a bit.